Sauce.
Hey, you late, Pez?
It looks like that. Here's Horne from the boundary line. He's an expert at these. From the boundary line.
Hello and welcome to Behind the Boundary podcast. I'm your host Pez. I'm here with Sauce and we're going to get into a big round 9 and talk a little bit about what happened in round 8, Sauce.
Yeah, sort of the midway point, Pez, where most teams have played half the league once. It's not coming into the bye rounds, and you sort of make or break by now. You know, the teams that are struggling, the teams that are going well, and most of the teams that have that opportunity to bounce back. Pez, a couple of impressive wins on the weekend, and a couple of teams still falling.
Yeah, and a couple of big games and hard to tip in in normal tipping competition. You know, when you get to a round and you've got 3 or 4 games where you're like, I don't actually know. I've got to really think about it. I've got to wait for teams. I've got to, look at recent form and things like that. That's when it gets
us every week, Pez, waiting for teams.
It is, but that's when it gets really, really tough and really difficult. But it's good to see the competition moulding, and I think you've got the 2 front runners in Melbourne and Brisbane at the top. You got the next lot who are fighting for a final spot, and then you got the bottom dwellers, and then you have NORF. So go from there. There's the summary of so far 2022.
Yeah, I mean, you sort of would say that by now, the 8 rounds in, the top 4, 4 of those teams that are in the top 4 now are probably making the top 8. And it's that bottom 4 is whether they reach into the top 4 or whether 1 or 2 of those teams drop out. And you look in there, Western Bulldogs, Port Adelaide on the outside. Other than that, you'd probably say the season's over for the rest of them.
Oh, season over. What a great segue.
Season over.
Well done, Sauce, for confusing the shit out of all the listeners here. Season over. It's round 8. What are we talking about here?
Well, normally we hold this on to the end of the year when we're talking about seasons over for the teams and when it comes to finals and we do the review. But, Pez, I thought it was an appropriate segment considering some of the stories we've had this week, and it fits perfectly for some of the big stories.
Yeah, well, one of the biggest stories didn't really involve football, did it? And it involved 9 West Coast Eagles players, which they only had 21 available to play, and 9 of them decided to head to the nightclub the night after they had a 109-point thumping from the Richmond Tigers.
Yeah, and it wasn't a discipline thing, Pez. It was they obviously, attended a nightclub. Jackson Nelson, Josh Rotham, Jake Waterman, Hugh Dixon, Patrick Naish, Campbell Chaser, Rhett Bazzo were hit with $5,000 fines for attending a high-risk environment, linking to nightclub. But I thought the high-risk environment was getting near the pill on them the day before.
Well, the high-risk environment is going to a nightclub and showing your face. Like, you just lost by 109 points the day before. It's not like, hey, look at me, I'm an AFL footballer. Oh, how'd you go? How'd you go this week? Oh, no, I don't want to talk about it.
Maybe they were practicing some of their footwork on the dance floor there, Pez, and but they definitely had been practicing social distancing the day before. So what are your thoughts on this, Pez? Some of these players are not even full-time players, and they've been stung with replacement-style fines.
Oh, this is extremely difficult, and it's because of the situation over in Western Australia and the struggles that the West Coast Eagles organisation have had. We know the Eagles hated the hub a couple of years ago when they were stuck in the Gold Coast, and they were very, very bitchy
because
about it.
Because they couldn't go to nightclubs.
Exactly. But now you got the players trying to do a normal thing in people's lives, in young people's lives there. But in this kind of situation, when your club's really struggling, you'd think the club would have had a conversation. Hey, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. These are the do's and don'ts. We'll reimburse you. We'll get something because you guys are going to be saving our season and not having to fold and things like that. And on the other hand, you'll have people saying, let him live their lives and let him go. But it's the high risk of the COVID and being around a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a tough one, Pez, as a young footballer who's probably not going to have an AFL career after this season. You want to make the most of using the second grade star status and go out to a nightclub. But you are right; it's going to be about the bigger issue here and the safety concerns for the rest of the league. And for the first time in a long time, most weeks there is many teams being hit with gastro illnesses and flu illnesses. We need to be containing these gentlemen to be able to play in the games. And then whilst it is a bit of fun on the weekends and after a big loss, it's good to sort of drown your sorrows pros. It's not the right way to do it. Go to the club rooms and just, it's not on, Pez.
Do it behind closed doors, house party style, like the Brisbane boys do it after a win usually. But Josh Rotham was one, and it was just like, oh, you went to the nightclub, you've been exposed, but just we're not gonna punish you just yet because we need you to come to Brisbane and play up there in bad conditions against a very high side, and our lines are going to be like minus 72.5, so it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, well done for them covering it. Well done for covering the line. He made a difference there. So, those seasons are over for those boys, Pez, and there's not much really to talk to. It's disappointing that in this sort of world that we live in, that people are still taking those risks that jeopardise the rest of the, people that are doing the right thing.
Yeah, well, the bad thing for them is it jeopardises the whole AFL competition when they play against things like that. So you got to wonder how the players are going to feel and how we keep going. But season over for West Coast. They're down the bottom with a couple of other players. And another season over source was a coach, I heard.
Yeah, you heard it here first, actually, Pez. We've been talking about this for 3 or 4 years now. Leon Cameron. Now he didn't quit. It was a mutual agreement, and probably Pez. It's probably the first time this actually was a mutual agreement because GWS sort of was, didn't want to end his, they didn't want to extend him halfway through a season because obviously he hasn't really performed well. Whether he has performed is another thing, but he sort of labelled his side as boring as the weekend. We definitely think that he's lost the playing group. The club's not confident with him, but yeah, I think his season's over. And there's two real questions here, Pez. Has his stint at the Giants been a success?
No, not with the talent and the list that he had. But you did say we have been going on that Clarko should have taken over a long time ago, and it was a perfect opportunity before he even left Hawthorn. But Brad Scott started this bullshit. He started this bullshit of
this mutual agreement.
Oh, I'm gonna mutually agree. I'm gonna head off with my head held high before you sack me the next week. So did he get the tap on the shoulder? Hey, Leon, we're gonna have to part ways here. Do you want to quit and resign, or do you want us to announce that you're fired? What's going to be better for your future? It's going to be better that he's going to do that because he's going to get an assistant coaching job somewhere.
So does his contract get paid out if he steps down?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know. I think there might have been a monetary value
Good word.
Agreed upon if he was to step forward and do that. It might not have been the rest of his contract, but it'll hold him in good stead for the future, and he'll still work in the AFL.
I've got a question for you, Pez, to follow up with the season over aspect. Like two, actually. The first one is we rate this success based on premierships only. Richmond and GWS obviously played in that famous grand final where they got absolutely robbed. They play that game 10 times. Who wins the game? Who wins the bigger percentage? How many times did GWS win if they play that game 10 times?
How many games did GWS win?
If they play Richmond 10 times on that same day, same event, is the result the same every time?
Geez, Richmond would be tired after the first 4 wins, wouldn't they?
But you remember on that day, Pez, we were pretty confident in that list. We were confident in the way they were playing. They were playing better. What do you reckon? They win 3 out of 7? 3 out of 10?
3 out of 10. I would be around 3, around 4. 4 if they're lucky there. But, they've got they had the talent. They had Toby Green up forward, so he can go off in a game of footy. It's 3 hours, but obviously the better side, and we saw years after that. So, Richmond Tigers.
So if any, 70% of those other days don't occur, are we rating a success? They've only missed the finals once in the last 6 years. They've won a final in 5 of the last 6 years. The only other team to do that is Geelong. Sustained success with no premiership. Is that success?
Their benchmark was too high. So
agreed.
The benchmark in the competition, they were expected to do more. So when you're expected to do more, good example is Port Adelaide. You're expected to play in a grand final because you finish first, you finish second, and you don't get there. Then that's what you get marked on. You don't get marked on, because other teams didn't win finals and you did. Oh, you did better. You get a gold star and you get to keep going. No, it's not good enough for the organisation, the list they had and where their goals were set. So they failed on their goals, and Leon Cameron failed with the playing group. If they had won that premiership, it's a complete success, and it's a complete pass, and it's very, very different.
It's such a fine line, Pez. 24 hours realistically is what we're talking about, or 2 hours. 2 hours of a game. The game's played anyway, and his success. But really interesting. Anyway, speaking of his successor, There we go.
Oh, yeah,
Look at that go.
Here we go.
All right, whose season may not be over, could just be beginning, is the next GWS coach, Sportsbet, very quick on these, opening the odds pairs at $13 was Alistair Clarkson, and within hours...
coming.
That came in.
Surely.
Within hours.
What's he sitting at? $5, $6?
No, he's sitting $4. So I'll go through the top 5 for you, Piers, and you can give me a besides the obvious, who doesn't replace besides Clarko? We both think Clarko's the right fit for this list. He comes in, he's got the respect of the playing group. They have to play for him. They'll start playing together. He guarantees success for him there. So pick someone else for me. Mark Mavet, $3.50. Alistair Clarkson, $4. Adam Kingsley, $8. Adam Uze, $10. Tied with James Hird, and Blake Caracella at the 12.
Oh. Clarkson to go from there. No, Mark McVeigh $3.50. That's way too short. I don't think.
What do they know? That's unusual.
I don't think he's ready for it. I think he works at GWS at the moment, so that's why the assistant coach is usually the front runner. He's probably going to be. Is he caretaker? Is that announced yet?
Hasn't been announced because he's going to be playing this week. So he's going to be coaching.
That's another weird thing, isn't it? That Leon Cameron's like, oh yeah, I get to play my farewell game. Are they trying to pump up the Giants?
Trying to get one more little sneaky win in there, Pez.
Against Carlton as well. Carlton supporters not too happy today with that announcement that Leon Cameron's playing his last game.
Would be filthy.
We'll speak about that in round 9 in our Betslip. But
before you jump on, Pez, I might chuck a little sneaky on down the other end. $34, Shane Mumford. Surely just goes in there and just says the job's mine and just smashes some heads.
And then comes out of retirement and plays, player coach.
First one since like the 1940s.
Could be doing it.
$34. That is ridiculously shit odds.
I'll give you $101. Actually, I'll give you $1,001. The next head coach, the West Coast 9 at the nightclub. they all come in. They share the coach's box together, and they're the head coach. What do you reckon?
How does that work, Pez? Like what does that? What does that?
Some of them might not. Some of them might not have a job. Like
the season's over for them. Season's over for Leon Cameron, and season over for one more participant in football. And I'll hand it over to you, Pez.
Yeah, NORF is the other team down the bottom, aren't they? And when you're down the bottom, you want one thing. And some supporters, they hope to finish last. Some supporters hope to finish second last so they don't have the wooden spoon in the cabinet. Now, NORF have been good at collecting the wooden spoons over recent years, but the positive thing about a wooden spoon source is you get the number 1 pick. So Horne Francis, very highly touted. A lot of North Melbourne fans that I know were speaking about him 3 rounds into 2021 because they knew they were already getting the first pick and they were going from there. And he's just contract talks on hold. He's played, how many games has he played? 6, 7? Contract talks on hold until the end of the season. Thank you very much. I don't want to negotiate a new contract like the other top 10 draft picks in the AFL because, you know what? I don't think I really want to be at North Melbourne because you're a shit club.
Let's be honest, Pez. They've been season over since November 24th last year.
Oh.
That was draft day. So the moment he got drafted there, what's he doing? For a start, let's be respectful of what he's doing. It's so disrespectful to not even give them the basic extension. What, a two-year rookie contract? Surely you can extend for the 2 years.
But is he on a 2-year contract to start?
Has to be.
As a number 1 pick. Surely you can't have a 1-year contract and then say, all right, I'm not re-signing with you. I'm going. Because what's the point of finishing at the bottom, getting a number 1 pick?
Exactly right. They would have to lock that down straight away. So it's the extension that would have tied him up for a long 6-7 years, which you would be throwing him. He's an absolute superstar. He'll win their best and fairest. But what more can this bloke expect? He couldn't have been expecting to go there and change the result and the platform of this football club.
No, well, he's definitely not going to. If Silvani at Carlton is saying North Melbourne is shit on the field to him the other week, is that what he took to heart and goes, you know what? He's right. I'm gonna close contract talks and I want to go to a contender. He's not like that yet. He still needs to develop. He still needs to get some games under his belt. And I don't like the move. I don't think he should have extended his contract by any means. But if he's got 2 years, just don't say anything this year. Go into your next season and then maybe round 15 or something, you start looking behind closed doors and then maybe let it go out into the media when your season is fully over.
I don't think it was Silvani's words that hit him hard there, Pez. I think it was more David Noble's furious verbal spray that the 108-point loss, and some players visually and have come out in the media that they actually struggled to hold their composure after the address. Pez, you and I have played sport all the way through. Is the verbal spray gone? The
verbal spray's gone because Noble's tried. He's tried everything.
Well, what else could he try?
He's gone down to the verbal spray and few tears in the North Melbourne locker rooms, and I'm not too happy. A couple of I'm putting my contract talks on hold like straight after the meeting, like I'm calling my manager.
That's poor timing and lack of maturity, and whoever his manager is in their media, that's really poor on that, because it's just a bad look for North Melbourne. They don't need that publicity. They just actually broke their membership numbers for the first time in like 10 years, which is really, really positive. And now this comes out. It's just not the way you organise yourself as a football club and handle yourself as a professional footballer.
Oh, their recruiting hasn't worked. Their drafting hasn't worked. I don't know what else is going to work for him, but season over for North, and in the next few years as well, because they're going to get another number 1 pick, and are they just going to, before they get chosen, I'm just going to put my contract talks on hold and go from there. That might be the new in thing to do.
It may be, Pez, and I've been one to say that North Melbourne shouldn't be the team to go there, and I think that Hawthorne should be the team that goes to Tasmania, but if they can't withhold and at least extend to a 3 or 4 year, then they should be going there, because it's the AFL can't invest any money in that. If they're giving them number 1 picks, and even a number 1 pick who is 7 games into his career doesn't want to stay, that's just
what, an 18-year-old? Like,
dude,
seriously.
Yeah, I find it actually just disrespectful that he's even doing this. Like, I think that just shows a lack of maturity and the arrogance of, he is a ready-made player. Maybe he's going to be a 300-game player, but you're 7 games in, mate.
Tom Lynch still had to do a stint at the Gold Coast before he went out.
Yeah, everyone does. Everyone has to go through their 2-3 years or whatever it is. You give the club that drafted you, who gave you an opportunity to play, you give them the
Not everyone can get injured in their year 4 to pick 7 and then be a Joel Selwood and then come on to captain the club and, play 300 games, win premierships in his first year and Rising Stars and things like that. So Horne Francis, get over yourself a little bit.
It's season over for him for the lack of respect. He has to win that back and win back the North Melbourne faithful, because all his fans... Ooh.
And he's just been listening to that, so welcome to the show, Jason Horne Francis. Sources about to interview him.
Yeah, let's get into our bet review there, Pez.
Soft review, it's no official review.
How does it end? We don't know. They've kind of lost, but they've won as well.
And straight into the bet review, Pez. One way to get rid of any sort of guests we don't want. We could just straight away impress them rather than after talking bad about them. Our impressive round 8, Pez, because again, you have kept the streak alive, Pez, winning and keeping that winning streak 7 out of 8 rounds, Pez, and I was back on the winners board, both in a positive ROI this week.
Oh, that's what you got to love. And my round was absolutely monstrous, Sauce. And it started on the Friday night with Port Adelaide and the Western Bulldogs. I used a bonus bet and I just chucked it together. It was $5.69 and it was a $50 bonus bet as well. So when you get that and it gets up, you're very, very happy. Over 75.5 in the first half. And then I had over 37.5 from the first quarter, over 154 total game points, and then either team to win by less than 24.5 points. And it looked like Port Adelaide were going to win by a little bit more than that at one stage, and then the Bulldogs, steadied a little bit, and all green ticks there. The cheeky bonus gets up to return 234.50 and off to an absolute flyer. I couldn't lose from there.
Round over for Pez. I had 2 bets in this game. I had the Aaron Norton special, which he kicked the 6th goal, disappointing. And I had a 3-leg same game multi, and the Western Bulldogs needed to win. They did not. So for me, $60 down, 2 red ticks. Yeah, red crosses.
You got to love it when you see the Aaron Norton special and you're like, no, I don't think he'll kick a goal in the first 5, and you just stay away from it.
Yeah, cheers, mate. You wanted to be all over that. Anyway, speaking of steering clear, I steered clear to the next one, the Dockers and North, and that's exactly what Horne Francis should have done.
Well, he might have, but I had a 3-leg same game multi. I had under 173 alternate points, and the big money maker in mine was under 77.5 in the first half. I know Fremantle, are a defensive side. I know North Melbourne aren't a high-scoring side, so that's why I put it together. Also, Fremantle to win minus 12.5, so I had to win by 13 or more. $2.58 for that, and I thought that was absolute value. $25 on it, return $64.50, laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah, speaking of laughing to the bank, I did the same thing in the Richmond-Collingwood game. I had Shea Bolton to kick 2 or more goals, struggled up early, he had a couple of points, kicked the 2 goals. Richmond to win by 1-39 and over 170.5. Nice little bonus bet to collect 143.75, and my round started a little bit late, Pez, but it was off.
Oh, a little 675 get from a bonus.
Ooh,
and
yeah.
Not a cheeky 10.
I pushed a cheeky butt.
But a 25 bonus is very good, very good. I had a small little same game multi, $2.04, Collingwood plus 41.5, over 76.5 total points for Collingwood alone, and over 135 alternate total points. Tick, 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 another double up.
Yeah, another dull up, Pez, and it was a good tick for me, Pez, because we spoke about this, and I steered cleared in the Sydney
That's a good
Gold
move.
Coast game because of the 3 out of 4 times they've played them have resulted in Suns wins, and it was the same on Saturday afternoon.
Oh, and a big upset. And I was...
We spoke about it.
We did speak about it, and I thought, you know what, it can't happen again. Can't happen again. So I put a little multi together, and I had Swans minus 7.5. No good. The Gold Coast, right from the start, we're up by a bit, and it was a draw at 3/4 time, actually, Source, and Gold Coast were able to keep Sydney goalless in that last quarter and get a nice little 14-15 point win. So really good for a young Gold Coast Suns team. They show this a lot, but they never ever go on with it, and they aren't consistent enough.
Speaking of not consistent enough, Pez, we talk about the one and only GWS who pulled up a 53-point belting by the Cats. I had a 3-leg same-game multi. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, Pez, so I got my bet return. Missed the over 166.5. Bit disappointing that I had the gamble there.
Yeah, you had the gamble when this was free money because $1.74 Geelong, especially with that blue bet, I got paid out at half time. I was very, very happy with that. I had the max 50 on it, returned 87, and when there's free money on offer, you've got to take it.
Yeah, Pez, and you know what? I should have thought my Sunday advice because I took the free money with the Essendon plus 9.5 line with a massive comeback win. Had 25 on that and great collect for me.
It ended up at minus plus 17.5 before the game because
of all the
five outs, and Hawthorn were up by about 17 points and just capitulated. It was ridiculous. But I didn't have a bet in that game, and I didn't have a bet in the Brisbane West Coast debacle of minus 72.5 either.
Yeah, Pez, I had a bit of a punt in that one with my cheeky, and it wasn't to be at all, and I just snuck home with a bonus bet. I had the minus 120.5, and if Brisbane Lions had pulled their head out early, they would have got there, but 2 out of 3 again, Pez, equals a bonus bet. Not a bad place with a $11 cheeky to be.
Jeez, they got the line right, didn't they?
They did, got it bang on.
It was
75
a
points.
goal with, 19 seconds to go going into that 50. It didn't look likely, and West Coast were going to cover for all money, but it didn't end up happening. The next game, Melbourne versus St Kilda, we both didn't have a bet, and Melbourne all over it, 38-point win.
Yeah, a bit of a non-event, Pez. St Kilda didn't really show up for this one. Melbourne was super impressive, and there's not really much you want to talk to that.
Their first half was absolutely amazing, and we move on to the Carlton-Adelaide game. I was looking at my profits over the weekend and thought, you know what, I'll just put this out on Twitter at Behind the Bound before the Carlton game. I did Adelaide Crows plus 58.5. Carlton minus 14.5. So I just wanted to quickly talk about why I did that. I was going to do Carlton 1-39, but I thought, you know what? I think Carlton will win, but I think they possibly could win by 40 plus. So I just gave myself a little bit of rope there. So Carlton had to win between 15 and 58 points instead of 1-39, over 145.5 points. And Adelaide woke up in that last quarter and got it under the 58 points. So another $2.33, double up and a bit more for that.
Yeah, strategic way to play with that line, Pez, and give yourself a little bit of extra rope, and it's good when you can do that. I steered cleared in this one, and exactly what Adelaide did in that third quarter, Pez. Carlton piling on 7 goals in that. Get to our multi, for me, had Richmond, Sydney and Geelong. Sydney let me down, escaped with a bonus bet of $50.
Yeah, bonus bet of 50 is nice to have, but you'd prefer
the winnings.
Win. I had a multi and it was no good, and we did speak about this last week, Source, because I put $1.09 Fremantle hit in there, which was a free win, but I wasn't eligible for the bonus. So Fremantle won, Geelong won. Missed out on Sydney because Sydney couldn't get over the line against Gold Coast. So I got across, and I don't get a bonus for that, even though I only got 1 leg wrong.
It would have been a nice little return to add to my staked for round 8, Pez. I staked 185, returned 191.24. So only a small margin of win. As I said, an ROI of 3.37%.
What do you got? 2 bet returns and 2 bonus bets. So
so a little bit unlucky, but you know what, Pez? It gives me a little bit of a free hit for this bet slip. And you know what, Pez? First time you'll hear this season. I don't mind my bet slip.
Source likes his bet slip, guys. So choose who you're going to follow along with. But I'll just tell you my round 8.
Yes, I think I might be following you around for how well you've been going. Jesus,
I followed the rules last week as well.
I know.
Staked $200.
On the money.
Returned $495.25. And I didn't even win the multi-source, so that was a huge round. 147.62% in the ROI. Takes my year-to-date, staked $1,950.02, returned $3,345.82, ROI of 71.57%. It keeps growing, and the more money you stake, the harder it is to keep growing the ROI, and it's creeping up there, which is very nice.
Yeah, it was a little frustrating for me, Pez. I had a positive round and went down in my year to date total. So staked for the year 1320.99, returned 1624.43, an ROI of 22.97%. Went down 3% since last week.
And if you are listening to this pod and you always choose your own bets, but if you are following along with any of the bets and you get a little money in your pocket, all you need to do, go on Twitter @BehindTheBound and just give it a like. The little, the around the round recap or whatever it is. We've been winning. The little emojis are there, and it'd be much appreciated by the fans to just hit that little like button on Twitter.
Hit the like button, hit the retweet button as I hit the Betslip intro button.
The fact that the size of the bets was relatively small.
Now Betts with an opportunity about 50 metres out.
I was with a mate and we were getting sort of ready to leave, and he said, I think I'm going to whack 10 on Maxi. Do you want some as well? And I said,
Oh yes! Yes! Yes!
Straight into things, Pez, and hopefully you can continue the special run, and hopefully the betting companies have offered us something special as well.
Cyril takes a special and goes bang.
Oh, it is very special this week. So round 9, you've got the bet returns from Sportsbet. Well, you do, Source. I don't. As we go, Ladbrokes they've kept it the same as last week. So
unlike them.
So and Neds as well.
Neds
so
as well.
yeah, because they're the same company.
Same
just
company.
Different colour, same company. Jump on @BehindTheBound. There's a nice little graphic there if you need to see what it is. Bet365 just have the increased percentage on multi-offer. Tab, you've got the head-to-head multi-special at 3+ legs, so that's the best one that I could find for the head-to-head multi-special. They've got the same game multi 4+ legs or more and a lead halftime lose venue mode. Moneyball have their same game multi and their multi-offer, as well as these two, Source. So see if you are interested in these this week. Degoe, a half triple-double. $20 is the max bet. He's got to have 5 kicks, 5 handballs, and 5+ marks. So it's a half triple-double, paying $3. We'll talk about that maybe in the Collingwood game and see if you like that. The next one's in the Sydney-Essendon game, Buddy before Wright. So Lance Franklin to kick a goal before Peter Wright. Max bet at $20, but the odds they're giving you is $3 for that one. So I don't mind a little lick of that one.
I don't mind the actual enjoyment of watching that bet unfold. I think that's a great little game within the game, and I think it's something that they should have more on because it's good to watch.
Ball's down the other end. You're like,
Yep.
oh no, I need it down there.
Yeah.
Oh, is Buddy going to get it? It's like a better version of the first goal scorer.
Yes.
Because first goal scorer,
Yes.
it's not a great
It's
bet.
a head-to-head market. It's a head-to-head market. I love it. They should be able to, they should put that into a regular special with like a lot of things. You can be like, this person kicks more goals than this person. Who
Yep.
kicks a goal first? Love that.
Yeah, very. We're very behind that. And Blue Bet, the fans can always get on and say what they want. You've got the 12 points at halftime. So head to head, 12. If you're up by 12 points or more, you get paid out. You've got the multi bonus, so 3+ leg and 1 fails. Yeah, that's all right. So Blue Bet over there. They've got the footy multi bonus as well. Same game multi as well there. So Smith's Cripps is the other one. 60+ disposals between Smith and Crisp for Collingwood, paying $6. That's too much disposals
Way
there
too
for
much.
me. You lower that to 50 and lower the odds a little bit, and I might take that.
52.5, I'd have a punt.
Yeah, just give it to that. And shout out to Chris Brooking on Twitter there. They've said, surely you're all over the PointsBet handout this weekend. I can't actually see what the PointsBet specials are, Source, and neither can you. So we've both been banned. And,
Both been banned.
I can't see them. So if
you know what?
if they're any good, and we love the listeners to make money and take advantage of it, just post it there, a screenshot, so we can see what they are and other people can see what they are, because we can't provide it.
Can't provide it, Pairs. But one thing we can provide is my new favourite betting agency, Picklebed.
Piss off with
They've
Picklebet.
got some great bets this week, Pez. Again, still growing their company and their legacy.
How did this get through pre-show?
Collingwood to win and Jordan DeGoey to score 2 goals. 20% raise, 450. Terrible. Richmond to win by 1-39. Dustin Martin to get 25 disposals. That's probably the best one and the closest one, 480. Buddy Franklin to score 3 goals and Sydney to win by 1-39, 430. And the last one, Sam Walsh to get 30 disposals and Charlie Curnow to score 4 goals, 520.
You can get better odds than
You can
bloody
get so much
sports bet,
better
I
odds
reckon.
than that. But that's Picklebet's our new favourite, Pez.
No, don't listen to Picklebet, but let's get into round 9 and our bets.
fact that the size of the bets was relatively small.
Now Betts with an opportunity about 50 metres out.
I was with a mate, and we were getting sort of ready to leave, and he said, I think I'm going to whack 10 on Maxi. Do you want some as well? And I said,
Oh, yes! Yes!
Yes, Pez. The AFL has listened to us, and they've gotten rid of the double header on the Friday night experiment, but still no Thursday night footy.
Yeah, I didn't like the two Friday nights. Thursday night footy is making a comeback in the upcoming rounds, though, so we're very excited about that.
Exciting for that, Pez, and exciting for the Friday night clash. This should be an absolute cracker. Both teams just sitting outside the 8. Collingwood playing Western Bulldogs. The Pies go in as outsiders at $2.28. The Western Bulldogs favourites at $1.60. -8.5 is the line, Pez. 9th versus 10th. Season on the line. Surely the doggies start to bounce back.
Yeah, it's very interesting. You'd have to think both sides coming off a disappointing loss, no more so than the Western Bulldogs' performance last week against Port Adelaide. But I am going to back the Bulldogs in.
Yeah, I like this one.
For this one. I don't know how Collingwood are going to go and bounce back. It's 9th versus 10th if you're looking at the ladder at the moment.
So an upset you're expecting?
Well, you got Ginnivan, who's out with an illness this week.
Thank God. Geez, he's frustrating to
the
watch
young
unless
fella.
you're a Collingwood fan.
Bianco out as well. But we've got some big ins for the Western Bulldogs. You got
huge.
Bontempelli and Alex Keith being two of the massive ins. They've missed Alex Keith down in
So
defence,
much.
being their best defender, and Bontempelli obviously being their superstar midfielder / forward / wherever we want to put you on the night. So because of those two ins, I am going to back the Bulldogs in here. I've gone the Bulldogs -7.5 on a $2 line in a same game multi with the Bulldogs +28.5, and the Bulldogs to win the second half. So halftime, you start at 0-0. I want the Bulldogs to win that second half. $2.32 at Ned's. The 3 legs there, I've put 25 on it.
Yeah, I love that, Pez. I love the $2 lines that you can get with Neds on that Friday night. I've done the same thing. Western Bulldogs -7.5. The alternative handicap, Pez, with the actual free hit that we get, 16.5 alternative handicap. I've gone the over alternate total points, 148.5. Pez, I think this game's high scoring, high flowing with the way that Collingwood are attacking, and the Western Bulldogs we know can control the football a lot, so that gives me odds of 251. I've gone the max bet 50, Pez, and one of the rare of actual money where I'm spending and not bonus bets, so that's perfect for my Friday night to open up my round.
Yeah, can I change to Collingwood because you're on the Bulldogs, or?
Pez, we're still winning here.
Yeah, I know.
I told you I should have just let you go first and be like, oh, you've read my mind. I've got the same thing, and just quickly whack it on. But let's get into the Saturday night traditional time slot, the 1:45 time slot. Another cracker. This is at the G. Hawthorne taking on Richmond. 3:35 outsiders Hawthorne after an impressive start to the season. Richmond with their superstar back, Pez. $1.31 +19.5 is the line, or minus if you're going on Richmond. This should be an absolute ripper there, Pez. And I think Richmond win this game impressively, and they are definitely getting their dynasty back on track.
Yeah, Hawthorne really disappointed in that last quarter against an Essendon side there. But Richmond, they're starting to come alive a little bit. They were able to beat Collingwood last week. Dion Prestia and Vlosten to come back in to make their side a little bit stronger. Chad Wingard and Mitch Lewis to come into the Hawthorne side as well. The line's really interesting for me at 19.5. It's right in the middle of that 1-39. And, lines are usually pretty good. So I'm going to go off that. And I'm going to take Richmond here to win because I think they'll win. But I'll go Richmond 1-39. They don't really win too many games 40 plus the Tigers. So they just cruise if they get to, 4 goals up or so. And Hawthorne have a tendency to start strong in the first quarter and, keep with a side. So Richmond 1-39 into Richmond a fixed win and Richmond to lead at 3/4 time. Those three together, well, actually 1-39 gets me $2.10. But I put the lead at 3/4 time as well. Mm-hmm. It bumps it up to 247 and gives me insurance there. So 247.25 on it.
You're loving that one, Pez. I've used my bonus. It comes up funny on the way that we're putting on the bet slip here. I've used my bet return, one of those ones that you're not allowed to have, Pez, but those specific ones for the first game of the day or whatever it is. And I've put the 50 down from that. Just a really straight one. I agree Richmond will win this game. I've just put them straight up on the head-to-head, and I've gone Shea Bolton, Pez, to kick 2 or more. Give you his tally for the year. 3-2, 3-2, nothing, 1, 3-2. So that's going to be a good little win for me on my bonus bet, Pez, and I put the 50 at $2.20.
All right. Yeah, 220. Yeah, not bad. Not as good as 247, but
Oh, it's not bad for 2 legs. You're being realistically, you're doing 1 leg, so yeah, you're right. So anyway, we get on to the North Melbourne Port Adelaide game, Pez, and I'm a little bit surprised in the odds in this one. North Melbourne, the sports bookies are giving them a little bit of a crack here at 6.25. Port Adelaide $1.11 heavy favourites. The line minus 37.5. It doesn't matter where this game is being played, Pez, because this is going to be an absolute shellacking.
we're at is it Bloodstone Arena down in Hobart?
That's
there,
the
I'm not
one.
familiar with Port Adelaide playing down there in those conditions, but North, we just bashed them a little bit in the season. Actually, we didn't bash North.
No, we didn't.
We bashed Horne Francis.
We went to Horne Francis because North Melbourne, they needed that, I think.
They
needed a week off from you.
Needed a week off for him, and that's good.
From you.
Oh, from me.
You bashing him.
Well, that's very good. But Horne Francis is injured this week.
Perfect.
So he's out.
Isn't that convenient?
And because he's out, I'm going to go a little bit cheeky on North here.
Cheeky.
So I've done this once before this season, and it didn't work out too well. But I've gone the total game points under 156.5 because I know Port Adelaide's historically a high-scoring side, but it could be
Pez, they could get 156 on their own.
it could be a bit windy down there. And North scored 24 points last week, so just be aware of that. But I have gone Hugh Greenwood to get 15 plus disposals. North Melbourne first half line plus 18.5. So this could be over for me at half time if Port Adelaide are up by 19 or more. And the full-time line of North Melbourne plus 37.5. It gets me exactly $5, and I've just put the cheeky 10 on there, and just a little dig at Horne Francis. Get out of here.
Get out of here, Pez, and that's exactly what I'm hoping Port Adelaide do. I've gone something extremely different. I don't normally go with this one, Pez, but I thought the odds were extremely great for what it is. I've gone Port Adelaide plus, just 25 plus to win the game, and $1.41. I thought that was great odds for how low the line is and how the 37.5, $1.11. So that I've put the 50 on that, Pez, only to win $20, but I think that is free money.
Oh, just to win the 20? All right. And free money. You're taking a little bit of what I said in the thing. All right, that's good.
I've taken
That's
your
good.
advice, Pez, taking it from the guru at the moment. And when you're on a hot streak, you do jump all over him, Pez. And hopefully you are swinging the right way in this one, Pez. This will be an absolute classic. It's the behind the boundary derby, realistically. St Kilda versus Geelong at Marvel Stadium. Under the lights, under the roof, $2.10 outsiders are the Saints, $1.72 the Cats, minus 4.5, $1.90 line as always. Pez, surely you're on the Cats in this one.
Aren't we excited to be heading to the footy this week?
I cannot wait.
Just maybe a couple of froths at a pub near Marvel Stadium, and
It'd be rude not to.
look what the Hawks and the Tigers are doing, and then head on to Marvel, and then just keep those drinks flowing.
Oh, geez,
And-
we're starting at 1:45, are we? Here we go.
keep it going. And last time we went to this game source, Max King had 0-6 and fell over himself in the forward 50, but he needs to get back on track for the Coleman medal. So he needs to kick a big bag, and he kicks a big bag here, and we win. But he's not in my bet. It's just straight up max 50, St Kilda to win with blue bet, the 12 up special at halftime, $2.15.
Yeah, it's a shame that your losing streak comes to an end, Pez, because I've gone believe it or not, the other way. I've got my bonus dollar,
couldn't have picked
my
it.
bonus stake, $50. Pick your own line, minus 12.5. What Geelong did last week was super impressive. They actually play the under the roof quite well. St Kilda have been a little bit up and down. It will favour them, obviously, under lights, but Pez, you can't not do it.
If this was at the G or if it was at Alphabet Stadium, you guys have it. But because it's at Marvel, I think that does give the Saints a bit of an edge, and we'll be able to hopefully contain Hawkins and Cameron. Hawkins can
What about
usually,
Stengel? The big three.
Don't worry about Stengel. He'll be
The big
fine.
three, Pez.
Is he playing for Adelaide still?
No.
No, yeah, he's Geelong through and through, I heard, after he kicked his third goal on the weekend. The commentator goes, now he's in Geelong. No, he was in Geelong when they signed him at the beginning of the year. So there you go.
Yeah, not impressive little start from the small forward, 15 goals, and leading the Coleman in the top two pairs. It's the three-headed dragon. I love all the names that they come out with these things. The big three, the three-headed pussycat. Like, what are you guys doing?
Better than Dalhouse, better than Higgins.
Thank
little
God they
recruits.
finally got him out. Like, Jesus Christ. Anyway.
Brian Myers next.
Nah, I like him.
Yeah, like
Unorthodox
it.
kicking style.
Yep.
You remember someone went to the footy last time and the guy just couldn't get over the fact his name was Grind? And he just gives you like, Grind. Not calling him.
Should it be Brian?
It should be Brian. I'm not calling him Brian. Jeez, he had a few froths that day. But speaking of a few froths, Pez, I don't know why, because I'm sure after this game we might have a little dabble at this one. Sydney taking on Essendon at the, I think it's the SCG off memory, Pez, without checking. The SCG, the Swans are heavy favourites, $1.28, $3.60 outsiders are the Bombers after their, second win? Minus 24.5, $1.90 is the line. Pez, Bombers make it 2 in a row?
Look, Sydney against poor sides this year have not been great.
No, correct.
They have not. Against decent sides, they've been a lot better. So they do need to pull their finger out here. But I'm staying away from lines and all of those things. I'm just going straight the Moneyball specials.
Okay,
I love that bet. Head to head. Lance Franklin to kick a goal before Peter Wright at $3. I'm taking it.
Yeah, $20.01. I'm sure you've put on the max bet.
Yep, 20 and 1 cent to win. What is it? 60 and 3 cents.
60 and 3, mate. Pez, that'll be perfect for my Betslip and my ACD. Not ACD, my OCD with all the... I don't actually suffer from that at all, but let's get on to the Adelaide-Brisbane game, Pez. Saturday night, the double-header one that they traditionally have. 7:40 start at Adelaide Oval, 4:30 outsiders are the Crows, $1.21 favourites the Lions, minus 27.5. Over-under for this one, Pez, 169. Very nice, 0.5.
Oh, yeah, and a 0.5. Now, Adelaide, very disappointing.
Super disappointing.
2 weeks ago, thumped on their home deck by GWS.
Yep.
Last week, head to Marvel. Last game of the round.
Thumped in the third quarter.
Thumped by Carlton. Like, they could not get anything going. Quite embarrassing for the Crows because they've built on, in the last couple of years, on effort and sustained effort through 4 quarters. So they're going to want to bring it against Brisbane, the second best team in the competition at the moment. But I can't see it happening. I see Brisbane having a comfortable win here. So I've gone a 3-leg same gamer. Brisbane to win. Brisbane minus 16.5 at the alternate handicap. And then Brisbane to lead at every quarter. So I want them to come out strong, lead at quarter time and keep going. That by itself is $1.87. Put the other 2 in there, make it 2.02 and get that 2 legs for same game insurance.
Yeah, the old 2-for-1 deal, Pez, and hopefully that's what we're having in that first quarter, Pez. Hopefully Brisbane kick off because I've gone a little bit cheeky for this one as well.
Cheeky!
I've just gone a real basic one. Brisbane to win, Brisbane 40+. And the thing that makes it a little bit cheeky, Pez, is Cam Rayner. Anytime goal scorer, first quarter.
Ooh.
That's the tricky one. So I'm thinking with the way that they will contain, and normally in the first quarter, your forwards are contained a little bit.
He kicked the first goal last week.
He kicked the first one and the first point, and then he also had another scoring shot last week in the first quarter.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that trend follows him. He's having a really good start to the season. That gives me straight up odds pairs of 5.75, and of course, I've gone cheeky with that $10 there.
Oh, nice. Just on half time, when the siren's about to go, Brisbane have done it twice this year. Joe Danaher playing on, and his goal obviously didn't count because he ran off his line. Mm-hmm. Cam Rayner did it on the halftime siren against West Coast as well. And that kick nearly cost the linebackers of Brisbane as well, because that would have been the extra 6 points that they would have needed. They covered it anyway, so it was all good. But you have to be aware of how long is left in the quarter and don't run off the line. Someone has to be yelling out.
How tells the awareness though, Pez? Because around the ground they put up the signs 2 minutes, like the 1 minute signs. They put up the little cupcakes. They put up the
little emoticon, whatever
they're doing. Surely, if you see that when you got your 30 seconds, you look over to the bench. That guy up there is like those guys outside the shopping centres doing the little flips around and the signs and that. Surely you just look over and be like, oh, "There's one. I'm not playing on."
Every team has that player though.
Everyone
that wants to talk, and someone has to be talking and saying, "Hey, Rayner,
That's what happened when
don't
big sauce is out, mate. That's what happens.
Yep. All right, there you go.
The old soft drop.
All right,
the old soft drop.
We get into a great Sunday footy here. We got some great teams playing. Do you know,
Pez, it actually is a great. It's a great Sunday until the last game because the Gold Coast are in form. They had an impressive win last week, and they're taking on Freo. Who are sitting third at the moment. I think this is great odds, by the way. Just quickly, Fremantle $1.50. That is an absolute steal. Gold Coast $2.60 outsiders. The line is minus 11.5. And Pez, for me, this one's really simple. I think the bookies have this wrong, and it's an overreaction from a side that actually plays well at the SCG and well against Sydney. Fremantle should be heavier favourites. I don't care where this game is played.
Yeah, well, I did think that when I first saw it at $1.50, a little bit of overreaction to Gold Coast win over Sydney. But I'm not putting my money down on this one at the moment. I want to see a little bit more information. Gold Coast at home have been somewhat impressive in certain cases. So we will see how it goes. The problem for me is I can't really go a biggish line for Fremantle because they're not the highest scoring team either. So wait and see and a steer clear for me.
Yeah, I'm sort of with you, Pez, in terms of not putting my own money on it. I'm putting the bonus bet down. So it is my money in by retrospect. But I've gone to minus 10.5 line, jumped on a little bit earlier in the week, Pez. $25 on that one as the bonus bet. I think Fremantle do this pretty easy. And yeah, you're right. They may not score highly, but they do contain their opposition. And they've had some absolute recruits there and some great first-year, second-year players. And I think they're the real deal, actually, for you.
Oh, real deal. And
real deal, Neil.
Nat Fyfe, not even pulling on the boots this season yet. So how is he going to? That's
scary, isn't it?
How is he going to sit back in and fit in there? But the farewell game.
The farewell game, Pez. GWS take on the Carlton Blues. $1.78 favourites are the GWS Giants. Obvious swing here with the final game, last hurrah, I guess, monkey that on the back sort of thing. Carlton, the Blues, $2.08 outsiders after a very impressive start for the Blues from their last 10, 15, 20 years starts of the seasons. Minus 2.5 line, Pez. This one, is it an overreaction for the whole last game thing?
I don't know. Like you're not celebrating his last.
I mean, if they were playing for him, he'd still be there, wouldn't he?
The tent that they had the other week when they played at home, the Tom Green tent.
Yeah.
Do you reckon it's going to be the Leon Cameron tent?
Nah.
Well, you gave me the odds of the next coach. So before I go into my thing, I've got a little some odds for you. The place where I work / volunteer / do whatever during the week when I'm not podcasting. Yeah, when I'm not podcasting full time. Yep. We've got a couple of positions open.
Oh,
so it's a big ground and a big area, and we've got some traffic around as well. So we've got Lollipop Lady at $3 for Leon Cameron's next gig. We've got canteen or tuck shop seller. So they're going to be in there, taking orders from people, getting the big M's, the Nippy's chocolate milk out. That's sitting there at $4.50, and then you got the big one at $8, which this could be, a little bit just a part-time gardener and maintenance person, just picking up the leaves and doing that, sitting at $8. So you got the three there for Leon Cameron's next gig. What do you got?
Out of the tuck shop, the grounds person,
and the Lollipop Lady.
Was that seriously the lead up for a no joke? I thought you had some sort of clever joke there.
No, this isn't a joke. This is serious. We've got those three positions open
at your school.
What do you mean, my school?
What are you talking about?
Just a part-time area where I work.
Oh yeah, apologies. Yeah, you don't work at a school. Whoops. Your part-time establishment.
Yep.
So you think Leon Cameron's going to apply for those?
Well, what else? What other choice does he have? He's not getting a tent.
No, but he's going to be paid out from his contract.
Yeah.
The money he's going to be paid remaining on that is much more worth than the road that your establishment is on, Pez.
Well, how about this? He gets his payout. He's allowed to bet on AFL footy. He bets the $8 that he's going to be the grounds person and clean up the leaves, and he just puts it all on there. He times his payout by 8, multiplies it by 8. Retire and happy man.
All he needs to do, Pez, is put his contract, whatever's being paid out, on the Blues, and then just give his normal inspirational speech, and then it's an easy free money because
he's not allowed to bet on him because he's still coaching him this week.
Technically, he's not. Technically, he's resigned.
Oh, Sauce, you got to read the fine print, mate.
No, what do you mean read the? I can't believe we're still talking about this. Anyway, what are you betting on this one, you flog?
Yeah, let's go for Leon Cameron. He's going to go out on a high, and then he's going to come down on a low and clean the leaves. So, Giants minus 7.5 at the alternate handicap. Giants minus 3.5 as well, and then Giants to win those three legs together, 210, 25 on it. Just let's see the orange and Leon Cameron out and get the Leon Cameron tent up at the ground. Come on.
I can't believe in all that joke you didn't have the painter because he was going to paint the town orange, Pez. I can't believe that's not what you were leading into.
No, the place where I do my part-time
work. They don't need a painter.
We don't need painting.
I've been there, Pez. Yes, they do. But anyway, Pez, I apologise to all our listeners that had to put up with that. I'm steering clear of this one, just like Pez should have steered clear with wherever the hell he was trying to lead into. Let's get into the Nightclub 9 taking on Melbourne. Lucky for them, they're in their home ground. They're in their home state of the SBS Stadium. West Coast taking on Melbourne. $17 outsiders are the West Coast Eagles. Melbourne, $1.02, and you know what? A very enticing minus 60.5 line. I think last week was the Brisbane Lions were 72.5 at $1.01, so that's not bad odds at all.
60.5. They might be scared that Melbourne aren't going to play their full side because they don't want to get infected with COVID and throw their season off the rails. But you pissed me off with your response to that little GWS gig, and I'm just going to steer clear of this.
Yeah, as if you would been a bet. Pez, you know what? I'm so angry that you've put the bet that you've talked that into our podcast. I'm steering clear as well, but I'd probably be leaning on the 60.5. I think Melbourne don't put the Q in the rack for that one.
You think the $1's safe?
Nope.
I'll put it together a multi with tab sauce. I'll get over your little shenanigans and
shenanigans, you flog.
Sydney head-to-head at $1.29, Brisbane to beat Adelaide at $1.20, and Richmond to get over Hawthorn at $1.34. Those three together, $2.07. Haven't multiplied it or anything, so I am eligible for the bonus this week, and the max 50.
Max 50. I've done the max 50 as well, Pez. I think there's 5 good games that I'm going to win on, and I've gone the tab 5 leg special, so 2 are allowed to fail with money back. Richmond, Port Adelaide, Geelong, Sydney, and Freo.
He's gone to 5.
I've gone the 5, Pez, and I'm pretty confident. You hear that? The cats are in there too.
The cat. Oh, there you go. There's one of your fails.
Gives me nice little odds of $5.11, and that is going to really set up my
set up your little bonus account for next week.
Oh yeah,
betting on round 10 with your little bonuses and bet returns.
You be quiet, mate. Speaking of being quiet, where can our listeners who have been a little bit quiet, where can they get on and tell us about your shitty bets?
That is a shit joke as well. At Twitter at Behind the Bound, and you get on there and you have a look at some of our recent tweets, and you see the ROI. Pez 71% for the season in the positive source. So can't be said enough, and I probably haven't spoken about it enough tonight.
No, not on the show, thank God. I actually would have preferred you to talk about that than your vacancies at your work establishment, and not even put in a good joke with a painter.
Look, I just got a message from someone at the establishment, and they said they're looking at painting a feature wall orange. So
there we go.
So painter has
get
gone
some
in
vitamin C in there, Pez.
At $14, and I just got another message. It's actually been taken down because they've just decided that is a shit idea from you.
Yeah, rubbish. Segue there, Pez. Horrible.
Segue to what?
I don't know. Shut up.
Are you going to say anything? Or
no,
what?
I'm not going to say
No,
anything.
you're not. So get on Twitter at Behind the Bound. Don't listen to Source. If you want to follow along with a winner, follow along Pez's Betslip. I'm Pez. Peace out.
Yeah, very mean tonight.
I'm the same as I always
Oh, sorry,
am.
I thought you already said goodbye, mate. I'm still Sauce. We'll catch up next time. And as always, if you're having a punt, bet responsibly.